Welcome to CarTok, where we talk everything about car. Today, let us talk about the Proton X70 Facelift, which I think come a little bit too late. As a Malaysian, we are no stranger to the Proton X70. As a matter of fact, Proton X70 is the first ever product after Geely has acquired 49% of Proton shares. It was something that happened since 2018, 2018, and until now it's 2025, which is approximately 8 years ago. Yes, time flies. So in these 8 years, Proton X70 stays on as the flagship model of Proton lineup. Even X90 is not considered as a flagship in my opinion. So ever since 2018 until now, in these 8 years of time, Proton has released different upgrades or different special edition. For example, in 2019, they have released Merdeka Special Edition or Merdeka Limited Edition. In 2021, they have another special edition with a special red color and blue color exterior paint. And in 2022, they have something called Minor Change MC model. Enters 2024 with this, a new face. This is a major facelift Proton X70, which I personally think it comes into the market a little bit too late after being severely attacked by none other than Chery. Why I say Chery? As we all know, Chery entered Malaysia in 2022 in a big storm with the Omoda 5 and the Tigo. Then let's not forget, Chery is a multi-brand brand. Sounds weird, but that's what it is. They not only bring in Chery, they also bring in Jeku. So when you look at the street, there's plenty of J7 right now. As a matter of fact, Proton X70, the main competitor in my opinion, or should I say the only competitor with the same product, C-segment SUV, is Jeku J7, which prices 10,000 ringgit more expensive than this. What is the other Japanese competitor? They are a segment smaller. All those B-segment crossover SUV. For example, the Honda HR-V or the Mazda CX-30, which is slightly more expensive compared to the Proton X70. So why I say it comes too late? Because for many years, since 2018, consumer has been asking for the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. But after all those years, Proton is not able to do it due to some copyright or data usage issues until 2024, which is last year. They finally, I repeat, finally introduced Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in the car. But I think it's a little bit too late because most of the potential consumer has already bought the Jeku. So why I say so? We have to acknowledge the fact that there's only a certain volume of consumer available in Malaysia. So no matter how cheap the car are or how affordable the price is, the market is always that big unless Malaysia have suddenly a lot of people get rich or we have a lot of population. But anyhow, this is the golden principle of market. So when I studied the sales figures for Proton X70, ever since their launch in 2018, they have been steadily selling about 20,000 or 20,000 plus units per year, only until 2022, where their sales dropped to 10,000 units plus. Some might argue that it's because X70 is a product that are getting old, but let's think about it. Where the sales figure goes to? Actually, those sales figure channeled to Chery and Jeku. So yeah. So for those who know about Geely, you usually know that Geely is a super mega ultra rich Chinese car makers that acquire different brands. One of the most successful acquire that they have done is acquire Volvo, the famous Swedish car manufacturer, under their umbrella. So not just the brand itself. After Geely acquired Volvo, they also managed to acquire the expertise from the team. For example, the exterior designer known as Peter Horbury. This vehicle, known as Geely Boyue, it's actually designed by Peter Horbury. So Peter Horbury, if you Google about his name, he's a very famous Volvo car designer, and he also designed some of the special projects for Lotus and even the London taxi. Unfortunately, he passed away last year. So if you go to the Geely official website or the Volvo official website, you will see this news being posted. My condolences to Mr. Peter. But let's talk about the design. So because Geely is in good hands, they are able to design cars with very good brand identity. So according to some internet articles that has been done, interview Peter, What he has said is he tried to combine the Chinese art sensation and with his understanding on car design. So if you look at the Chinese version, you have this grill, which is the water puddle grill. But for Malaysia, we have improvised it to our own Malaysian art. For example, these small pins, all of this, it might look like a little bit like Mercedes-Benz, but it's not. According to the Malaysia Proton car designer Aslan Othman, one of my favorite designer, where he designed my car, Proton Iris. These all are inspired by songcat pins. And if you look closely, there are still some elements of infinite width. If you see this car, it shouts Volvo. It's not a coincidence because it's indeed designed by a Volvo designer. Now that you know about the designer, the origin of the stories, let's talk about the exterior design for this Proton X70 Facelift. One of the major changes, or should I say the only changes, is this headlamp. You can say it's an egg-shaped headlamp. Now it changed to a more slim and in some ways sporty headlamp design. Grille, as I have mentioned earlier, it has changed the design. In my eyes, better looking diamond elements or songcat elements. Then let's look at the details. Grille here. Here, this is actually an air vent that can go through. So there's air vent here. You can see my fingers there. So this is actually aerodynamic and channel air here to reduce the turbulences in the wheel well. This part onwards is exactly the same as the X70 you see on the road. I don't think I need to explain or introduce more. You see plenty of them on the road. You can see this character line, blackout C pillar, B pillar, and that's about that. So I don't think I need to introduce more. New rim design. So apart from the grille, the headlamp, the rims, what's new? Look closer, you have this very bulgy signature line 1 and 2, which when you drive the car, it's very obvious. There's a nice curve here. Yeah, aesthetic and art. Let's play the game called Find the Difference between X70 Facelift and non-facelift. So my editor will put a photo of the previous version X70 here for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's see what's the difference between the pre-facelift and the post-facelift version. Do you find any? If you're not able to find it, it's alright because it's not that obvious. Same tail boot design and same bumper design. The only differences is here. A slightly facelifted microsurgery rear bumper with fake air vents and some changes in material. Overall, it's almost the same. One small design feature that I feel it's underrated but very useful and somewhat shouts the Volvo-ness is this. When you open the door, there is a brake light here, a red light here, and the front door. There is also a light here. So for this, last time I saw it is in some Volvo vehicle. Why is this important? Imagine you park your car on the roadside, it's pitch black, and when you open the door, at least the driver behind know that somebody else has opened the car door. It's a very useful thing. Too bad it's underrated at today's age. They care about the puddle light logo here more than this, which is a shame. Let's talk about the boot space. Okay, this car being the premium X variant, of course it comes with an electronic tailgate. So it has a tonneau cover here, very useful. Then you have this cover and with a space saver, spare tire and spare tire kit. So too bad it's not a two-tier design, it's a flat design here. And there's also not much place for you to hook your stuff. There's one hook here, there's two hook here, a small hook, and that's it. So when it comes to the practicality or the camping friendliness of Proton X70, loses out a little bit compared to the current trendy Jeku or Cherry or Subaru. Yeah, it is what it is. And you have this. I'm not sure why you need this when you have this. As this is the premium X variant, it comes with a 19-inch alloy wheel wrapped with 225/55 R19 Continental UC6 SUV tires. This set of tires, it's alright, it's okay because the car is slightly heavy, so it doesn't feel that out of grip, sufficient. What you can see is the rim and tire combo with a new design rim. What you can't see is, of course, the suspension setup. So the front suspension uses a typical McPherson setup and the rear suspension uses a multi-link setup. So a Proton being a Proton, and of course with some Lotus magic inside, the ride and handling of this vehicle is one of the best in SUV that I have ever driven. Yes, this car is actually comfortable to drive, and nice in handling, both. Let's talk about the engine and the transmission. Fancy hydraulic strut, sound deadening material. Under the engine bay, for now, it's the same engine as the Proton X70, X50 and X90. X90 is slightly different because it has the 48 watt mild hybrid. So 1.5 liter 3-cylinder TGDI turbo gasoline direct injection engine matched with a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. Horsepower 177, torque 250. So is it enough to propel this car? Yes, more than enough, which has been discontinued now. No, you don't need it, because this set of drivetrain it's very mature at the moment. Let's talk about the driving experience later in the cabin. So as you can see, it's a very typical layout, and Proton, looking at the sales figure, has decided to drop the 4-wheel drive, or should I say all-wheel drive variant. At the moment, Proton only offers front-wheel drive, 1.5 liter, 7-speed gearbox. That's it. There's no more 1.8 liter all-wheel drive, 6-speed transmission version. No, just this, which makes things easier and better when it comes to scale of economic. So under all this plastic cladding, you can't see anything. So the airbox is here, and you have the battery cover here. Yes, everything is covered. Being a C-segment SUV, size is definitely not a problem. And in Proton X70 space, it's also not a problem for the rear passenger. I am 180 cm tall and 100 kg in weight. So you can see I sit just all right here. It's very roomy. Plenty of space, everywhere. So you have this cup holder here. You have a very nice covered cup holder, black material. You have an aircon vent here, USB-A, USB-C, and with a very weird air cleaner thing here. So what is this? This armrest is actually the ionizer for the cabin. Okay, you have to change the filter inside, as you can see in the armrest. So let's talk about the material. For this facelifted and facelifted variant only, Proton has releases new material lineup for this. They call it as a stone grey color, Napa leather, which for me, I feel a little bit odd. Still acceptable, just a little bit odd. And most of the touch point for your elbows is on a very nice soft cushion Napa leather. So you have this here and here, and the height is the same. So this rear cabin, it's very cozy. I definitely don't mind take this for a long drive or a long road trip. Then the party piece is this, the boss switch. So in case that's your chauffeur, or that's your husband, or that's your wife, that's your parents, I do not know. So you need more space on the rear. You think it's not enough for you to have put your legs up, so you can do this. And you can do this. How boss is that? Other than that, the rear bench, it's slightly adjustable, not much, just a little bit. Yep, so you can be more inclined or more upright as you wish. There's not much of room to adjust, to be honest. Then you have the headrest, 3 independent headrests. Then you have this, and you have a hook here. So overall, it's a very nice rear cabin to be in. The ingress and egress is easy too. So you can see. So overall, I would say it's almost flawless. I can't find anything to complain about. Aircon vent, yes. Ionizer, yes. Cup holder, yes. Nice material, enough space. So what more do you want? Do you want a screen here? And for that, you need to find cars that are more than double of the price. Let's talk about the interior, the driving cockpit. So as you can see, this steering is almost universal in Proton now, or Geely. X70, X50, S90, everybody uses the same steering, so no stranger. Steering rack, it's adjustable. Let's look at the major design changes. First, a new instrument cluster. Second, the new screen. Third, the new garnish here, embedded with ambient lighting now, which is adjustable in color, 75 color if I'm not mistaken, or you can set it to follow your music beat. Then you have this very nicely sorted out aircon control. So this is something that I personally like very much. Recently, there's a lot of car manufacturers that prefer to do the things fancy way. For example, using the screen to adjust the temperature or the blower speed, which personally I hate a lot. But Proton has that function here in this touchscreen. You still can control the aircon using this touchscreen. here. And you also can control using this button, which is nice. Okay, this actually shouts a little bit of the early BMW F chassis or E chassis aircon control. Yes, it's kind of nice. Then you have these drive-by-wire gear knobs. Everything here is exactly the same before the facelift. The only difference is this garnish here and the speedometer here, and perhaps the seat. So I'm not sure if it's my personal perception or is it a fact. I feel like the seat size is way bigger compared to the previous version. It's bigger, it's more comfortable. It also comes with a seat ventilation now. So all in all, it's very good. For that, it's electric adjustable without lumbar support. For this, it's 6-way plus a lumbar support. So everything is alright. I wanted to complain, but I don't think there's anything for me to complain. Yeah, the only thing I can complain is the cubby hole. So the only cubby hole you have hits here, which is rather small. Then at here, there's no space for you to keep your stuff. There's no hidden compartment here. As you can see, here is actually just a small pocket here for you to charge your phone. Same goes to here to connect your bag or your phone. So there's no hidden compartment. The only compartment is this. And your door pocket. This. One key feature that I need to highlight is on the previous version of X70, there came with Kenwood speakers. But for now, no longer Kenwood speakers. But when it comes to sound quality, it's actually alright. You don't really need the Kenwood. Nice to have, but not much of a short change. Overall, it's a very pleasant cockpit to be in. The ergonomics is alright. Steering, centering, everything is just alright. See here, same like the rear seat. Your elbow is touching the soft Napa leather here. And your hand is within the reach of everything. Steering here, gear knob here, and you have a nice armrest here or palm rest. So yeah, I got nothing to complain about this cabin. So let's talk about the driving experience of Proton X70 Facelift. This is the key, no stranger. Then it also came with the smart application that can control the car, but because we are in gas mode, this is a review vehicle, so we have no access to that. Being a 3-cylinder vehicle, most internet reviews complain about the vibration and the harshness. Currently the car is not started, so let's try to start the car and listen carefully on the engine vibration, on the engine noise. Is it that bad? Yeah, done. That's it. It's only when you start the car that has this. This is actually exactly the same review that I have shared with X50 RC before rolling change. Is it that bad? I don't think so. It's actually quite acceptable. It's just in the long run that people are concerned about the 3-cylinder longevity, whatnot. But let's not forget that this particular engine has been used in almost all Proton lineup, from the X70, S70, X50, X90, almost everything else uses this 1.5 liter turbo engine, turbo 3-cylinder engine. The difference is, does it come with the direct injection or not? Just that. At the moment, this car does come with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So for Apple CarPlay, it does support wireless connectivity, but I'm not sure why. For Android, you still need this to connect it. This having something is better than nothing. Previously, you can't have this at all. So is it a bad thing for Android Auto connection? Well, it's not 100% perfect, but something is something. Personally, I prefer wireless, but let's not get too greedy. Let's start driving the car. So for 1.5 liter TGDI to propel this vehicle, is it powerful enough, or is it enough power? I think it's alright. First thing first, this car is not that heavy. It's only about 1.7 or 1.8 ton. It's weighted, but it's not so heavy for the engine to pull. Granted, it's not as powerful as the 1.8 liter previously, the 1.8 liter 4-cylinder. But this engine, in a way, it's much more efficient and economy. So 1.5 liter for road tax, you pay much lesser compared to 1.8 liter, and less than 10%, but maybe 5 or 6% more fuel economy compared to the 1.8 liter variant. Then, because Proton has been keep on improving this particular drivetrain with Geely for the past few years, so I can say it's almost flawless when it comes to driving experience. Okay, the steering rack and the suspension feeling is typical Proton. It's supple enough when you go to the bump, yet supportive enough when you do some steady stuff. So you can see the steering is actually quite responsive. Yes, you can see the road bumps. It doesn't feel anything. It's just it's just nice. Gearbox, a lot of people complain for the first generation DCT that being used in Proton. Okay, I wouldn't call it first generation. It's a first time introduction. It's a bit jerky. So when you stop the car now, okay, stop the car, then you crawl the car, creeping. For the first generation Proton X50, same like my verdict in X50, okay? Previously, it feels jerky. The gearbox somewhat confuses what you wanted to do, so it just shoots out. But for this, it inherits all the class point from the Proton X50. It's very matured. For stop and go traffic, you wouldn't feel uncomfortable. Then the gear selection is quite relaxed, being this is an efficient engine. You wouldn't feel this car is a very powerful car, but it feels like you're driving a big CC car. So you can hear the engine to some found it's noisy. For me, it's okay. The RPM now is about 2000. The turbo start kicking in about 2003, 2004 RPM, and you just drive like it's it's quite effortless to drive. So throttle response is alright. The brake feedback is very well servo. All you feel is just the weight of the car transfer to the front, so you can feel the when you step on the throttle, the car lift up, and you brake, the car deep down. And let's not forget, this car does have a multi-link rear suspension, so the way it handles the road condition is very sophisticated. So it does shout a little bit of European in the car. So I mean, for me, I'm not a fan of SUVs, that's for sure. But after spending some time with the X70, I begin to ask myself, why not? The car itself is very nimble in a way because of the quick steering ratio, and this car does have a 5.5 meter turning radius, which is very small. So if you have confidence on your skill, it's actually alright to drive in a very packed urban area. Yeah, we are in a cobbled road right now, and it's alright. The suspension doesn't feel wobbly, the car doesn't feel soft, enough support yet just glide through. I am very much in love with the suspension setup of this vehicle. It's very good. Is there any major complaint that I have? I try to be nitpicky about the car, but I can't find any major flaw. Ergonomic, is it something bad? No, apart from a bit too high, but this is an SUV, so it's alright. It will be better if I can sit a couple of cm lower. This is the lowest position, but I wouldn't mind. When it comes to the handling, it's alright. It's just the weight transferring, it's not major body roll. The transmission, it's quite decisive. Steering is very well communicative. So I don't know what to complain about the car. The only thing that you can complain about maybe is the fuel consumption. So according to my trip computer right now, this car is reporting 9 liter or 9.5 liter per 100 km. For some people, it's absolutely unacceptable. But for me, I think it's alright. You have to remember this is a close to 1.8 ton SUV, which is not lightweight, which is not aerodynamic. So what do you expect, right? Given the price compared to Cherry, most will ask, why don't I just go for a Cherry or a Jeku? I will ask you back, what's wrong with Proton X70? The build quality is better, the handling is better, it's nicer to drive. Why not the Proton X70? So before I start my conclusion, I just noticed that this car does come with wireless Android Auto also. For some weird reason, I do not know why. Now it asks, do I want to connect Android Auto after the Bluetooth connected? Then yes, it has the wireless Android Auto. So wow, finally Proton, finally. So conclusion, is this a good car? Yes, it is. In many ways, I am trying to nitpick the car to find its flaws when it comes to the functionality, the ergonomics, the driving experience, and so far I am not able to find any major flaws. Yes, the gearbox is a little bit slow, but the gearbox slow change comfort. It does not feel jerky anymore. Yes, it's a little bit thirsty, but it brings you better peace in mind when it comes to the battery replacement cost for hybrid vehicle. The handling is alright, the steering feedback is alright, everything is just as nice. So, which brings back to the question, for those who are considering a Jeku or a Cherry, let me ask you, why not a Proton X70? For those who has already bought a Jeku or a Cherry, again my question is, why not a Proton X70? For those who are considering other cars, if you do not mind the brand, yes, Proton, I will also want to ask, why not a Proton X70? It ticks all the boxes that you need when you are shopping for a C-segment SUV. So yeah, why not a Proton X70? As you already know, personally, I like this car very much. It ticks all the right boxes and there's not much major flaw to be criticized about. What do you think about my point of view? Leave a comment below. And if you like what we are doing, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe our channel. We also have an Instagram and a web page. Thank you. See you next one.